Hello student, welcome to Max Study official YouTube channel. In this video we are going to see about the production numerical and theory question which is repeated in different examination. We will continue that series of part 4. I have already uploaded part 3, 1, 2, 3 for the casting process, important numerical and theory as well. If you have any of the feedback from our end, do comment below. I'll definitely go through them, and if any of the things which I need to record to improve our lectures, definitely we go with them as well. So let's begin with the videos. So the first question of that is, cold chamber die casting is suitable for which of the material listed below? These questions are repeated in CIL, other than CIL, different examination like NLC, WISAC, all those examinations. The same question of these types are repeated, even though they do not have changed the option as well. So do go through all those questions before going to these type of examination, because if you already read that question and earlier you have already revised these types of questions, once you read you get the exactly idea which of the option is right. Otherwise you need to think and do like take a 2 to 5 to 10 seconds write down and thinking about that. The whole time is going in a confusion, like you do not able to answer that question in a short way. So before that you need to revise all those things. So the cold chamber die casting is the process. The furnace is separated from the casting unit, and it is used for producing high melting point material casting. And the main material which are used in brass, copper, aluminum, magnesium are used in a cold die casting process. So the option of this question is cold chamber die casting is suitable for brass. That is option A is correct option. Going with the next question, sand and oxide layer adhering to the casting are removed by which of the following process? I think you are aware of that. Heating is no use of this option A. Gas cutting is used for cutting, not for the removal of adhering oxide layer. Air cooling is also not possible. Then only option left with the short blasting. Short blasting is the post-production finishing process which is going to rapid impacting of the part surface with the defined amount of abrasive material, and helps to remove the sand and oxide layer as well. So for this question, option B is the right option. If you go with the elimination of option, which is easy to if you do not have any idea to solve this question, so go with the elimination option, which is also helps to solve that type of questions. So going with the next question, which of the following are provided in the mold so as to increase traction capacity of the sand mold? So there are 4 options given: chaplets, shield, core and cope. Go with the each and every option. Chaplets are used to support the core inside the mold cavity. Suppose you have any of the core inside the cavity, inside the pattern, if you planning to make a core, then chaplets are made up of same material which are allowed to use as a supporting agent over there. So you need to provide the same material after the solidification. These metals are already melted in that and do not produce any of the oxide and impurity in it. So the chaplets are used to support the core inside the mold cavity. Chills are the metallic objects which are placed in the mold cavity to increase the heat attraction capacity. Remember that chills are mostly used to increase the heat attraction capacity. Core, as I have already explained, core are making for hollow cavities in the casting, and cope and drag are those part of the casting where you get the idea of the separation of the pattern. Like if you have any of the pattern, the first part of the pattern is known as the cope, and the bottom of the part is known as the drag, which I have explained in these slides. There are the initial process which I need to explain all those things. First you need to pour the molten metal into pouring basin. After that all these metal are passed through strainer where the impurity are filtered out, and through sprue they are coming with the splashing core, where splashing core have a capacity to store and pass through a narrow shape to avoid the flow separation into the skim bob. High density of material are placed over here and low density of material placed on upper side, and the molten metal which are required as per the requirement, they pass through the once the metal are reached to the mold cavity, there is a line of a riser where you need to compensate the riser. Like if the metal has formed at the end of the process, there is some contraction in it. To compensate that pattern, to compensate that liquid, the riser is provided so that the compensation and the exact pattern should be formed at the end of the process. These are the 3D layouts which I have explained over here. If you have any of the doubt which I have right now I have explained, do comment below. I'll try to resolve it for the next lecture. So going with the next question, which of the following is the best suited for the production of hollow pipe? Remember that for a hollow pipe you need to go with the centrifugal casting, which is the basic, and I think you all are aware of that. The centrifugal casting is only mostly used for the hollow pipes. If you need to further information, I have write it over here, just go through it. Going with the next one, if the proportion of oxygen is less than the proportion of acetylene in acetylene gas welding, the flame is produced. You need to just check with the oxygen is less, like oxygen is less, then do not go with the oxidizing flame, because oxygen is less and carbon acetylene in content is high, so you need to go with the carburizing flame. If the oxygen and carburizing both are equal, then go with the neutral. If the oxygen quantity more as compared to oxyacetylene gas, then you need to go with the oxidizing flame. Remember that these three options are need to confuse with the statement. You need to go and clear with that the oxygen is less in the proportion of acetylene, then the carburizing flame is the right answer. Going with the next one, the gating ratio refers to cross sectional areas of, this is the standard question which I have explained just 2 slides before. The right option is sprue runner gate. Option B is the right option. If you need a shortcut, then SRI. Remember that SRI, like sprue runner in gate. Going with the next question, which force is acting on the core when the metal is poured into the mold cavity? That the right option is buoyancy, because the density of core is less than the density of metal which is poured in the cavity, so there is an upward force which is acting on it, on the core. These force known as the buoyancy force. Going with the next one, a reservoir of molten metal provided in the casting so that the hot metal can flow back into the mold cavity due to the reduction of its volume in the metal due to the solidification. This is known as, option A is sprue, option B is runner, option C is riser, option D is core, option mostly used for the heat extraction from the casting. Option is A is sprue. Sprue initially are provided to passes of the flow of a molten metal. Option A, option E, option D are removed. Only left with the option C and B, runner and riser. Then only riser are mostly used for these types of process. Like riser is the molten metal which is provided in the casting, so that the hot molten metal can flow back into the mold cavity due to reduction of volume. Due to the solid, taking care only 2 types like liquid and solidification. Contraction will be taken care by the riser. So the right answer for this question is C, is the right option. Going with the next one, the ability of the casting material to fill the mold cavity in the described by, option A is cohesive, option B is reactiveness, option C is fluidity, option D is permeability. There is no relation with the ability of the casting material to fill like cohesive. There is no use of this, and for the reactiveness is also no use as per the question. You need to stuck with the permeability, and for the fluidity of a material, or metals and alloy are flow through the gating system, filling the cavity, like ability of a material to flow in a particular pattern or a mold. This property is known as the fluidity. Similarly, like that, fluidity is also depends on the viscosity and temperature of other things as well. So for these questions, the right answer is fluidity. The ability of a casting material to fill the mold cavity is described by the fluidity. Going with the next question, this is the straightforward question. Shrinkage allowance may be expressed in mm per meter. The option B is the right option. The next question is the direct formula. You need to remember these types of question. Without any second, you need to just go and mark that question and move with the next question. For the gating system of a casting, choke area A may be written as where m is the mass of the casting, rho is the density of molten metal, S is the effective metal height, C is the efficiency factor, and T is the pouring time. The right answer for this question is A equal to m divided by rho Tc under root of 2gh. That the option A is the right option. Going with the next question, which of the following is not for the casting defect? I think you are all aware of these types of defects is happening in a casting. You need to find out which of the not found in casting defects. Like similarly, blowhole, when the gases entrapped on the surface of the casting due to solidification of the metal. These gases, round and oval type of gases, are formed in it. And option for this casting without a casting defect, like hot is the casting defect, and run out is the also casting defect. Blowholes is also casting defect. Stop off is not the casting defect. It mostly occur in a power plant subjects where the boiler and mostly the different type of accessories are used in a boiler. These types of product used over there. So going with the next question, if the cube of 100 mm dimension is made of the aluminium, the shrinkage allowance is given with the 10 mm per meter, and what will be the dimension of a wooden pattern? Assume only shrinkage allowance. You need to consider only shrinkage allowance, do not consider the other. They have mentioned 4 part. So okay, the shrinkage allowance given is a 10, and they have you need to calculate the dimension of a wooden pattern. Remember that the final product which you are getting at the end of the process is less as compared to the pattern, because it's undergo the contraction process. So the final answer for these side is 100 mm. 100 mm is a cube, like each and every sides are same. Then the shrinkage allowance is 10, you need to add. So 100 plus 1, each and every side you need to add with 1, because it's a cube. Shape of all those things are same. So you need to add a 1 1 1 in each and every section, each and every sides of the cube. So you get with the answer 101 into 101 into 101, because the side of the cube are same in each and every. So that's all for today. If you have any of the question, do comment below. I'll try to resolve as soon as possible. And if you like these types of video, do subscribe our channel and share with your friend.